Okay, so ready to rethink how we talk to our governments.
Intriguing.
Because today, we're diving into, get this, the world of voice messaging.
Okay.
And no, not like those, those frustrating customer service lines.
Right.
We're talking about how an actual voice note, like you send on your phone,
Yeah.
could actually change how, get this, how we interact with the government.
Wow. That's interesting how tech like that can really just like shake things up.
Right.
I mean, we're so used to like, oh, I got to go to this website, fill out this complicated form.
Right.
But sometimes, honestly, a voice message is all it takes, you know? Cut through the noise.
Yeah, and this
Mhm.
is what we're looking at today. We have excerpts from this. Empowering Public Engagement. Voice messaging integration on department email. Remember how we always talk about, oh, I wish local governments were more transparent, more efficient? Well, the Department of Technology is actually trying to do something about it with this. And they're even encouraging people to visit the website. It's www.department.email. Have you heard of this?
I have, yeah. And the big idea here is they're giving people the option to use voice messages to actually communicate directly with the department.
Yeah. So instead of like having to sit down, compose this perfectly worded email about, you know, that streetlight on my corner has been out for a month.
Right.
You could just be walking your dog, pull out your phone and be like, hey, it's Sarah on Elm Street. That light at the corner of Main is still out. Someone needs to take a look.
Exactly. And it's not even what's so cool about this is it's not just about convenience for the residents, although that's a huge part of it.
Right.
But imagine the impact this has on the Department of Technology's workflow.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because now it's not just an email that could get lost in the inbox. They have this immediate time-stamped record of this is the issue.
Right.
This is when it was reported.
Wow.
And then they can route it to the right department immediately.
And it makes you wonder, like, how much faster things could get done if we weren't all waiting for these email chains to go back and forth. Right?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
did you get my email?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't had a chance to look at that yet.
Yeah.
So, and they actually highlight a few examples of how this could play out.
Okay.
Whether you're, looking for information about something, or maybe you're providing feedback on city services, or even if you're lodging a complaint.
And I think the key here is this has real potential to increase civic engagement.
Oh, interesting.
Because, some people, and rightfully so, they might not be comfortable with like writing a formal email to their council member, but they might feel more empowered to just quickly leave a voice message.
Right. It feels less, I don't know.
It's less formal.
Yeah, it's less form. I'd probably be more likely to, I don't know, share my thoughts on a new park design, like while I'm walking through the park. Hey, I love this, but,
Exactly.
versus having like go home, sit down at my computer. It's like, if I don't have time for that.
And that's what's so cool. It's like you said, it's a lower barrier to entry.
Right.
And that's what's really exciting about this is it has the potential to make civic engagement more of an integrated part of our daily lives, It's not something you just do when you're particularly fired up about an issue. It's just like, oh, I have a thought. Let me quickly share it.
Right, right. It could change the whole dynamic, really, between residents and their local government.
Absolutely.
But of course, whenever we start talking about new technologies, especially when it comes to something as important as, communication with our government,
Right.
security
Of course.
always
Yeah.
comes up, right?
Yeah, rightfully so.
Do we trust this? What's happening here?
Yeah.
But they actually do directly address this in the document.
Okay.
They really emphasize how seriously the Department of Technology is taking security and privacy,
Good.
really explaining the robust encryption and all the different protocols that they've put in place to protect all the communications on this platform.
Yeah, you have to address those concerns right up front
Right.
because people are rightfully so going to be like, okay, where's my voice message going?
Exactly.
Who has access to this?
Right.
So it's good that they took the steps to, make sure everything is secure.
Yeah, they knew people were going to ask that.
Right.
And it sounds like they've taken some steps to address it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that focus on transparency, that's crucial.
Yeah.
Building that trust.
Yeah.
Because if people feel like, okay, the department's being open with me, they're being upfront,
Right.
my concerns are actually being heard,
Yeah.
and things are being done in an open way, it can really change how they view, their relationship with their government.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It can.
It's true. Like, knowing your message isn't just disappearing into some, like, digital abyss.
Right, exactly.
But that it's actually being, like, heard and acted upon.
Yeah,
Big difference.
huge.
So, and speaking of transparency, they also touch on this in the document.
Okay.
Using voice messaging, for things like public consultations.
Oh, interesting. What do you make of that?
Oh, that's really interesting because, okay, imagine this, right?
Yeah.
You want to give your feedback on the new, I don't know, bike lane they're proposing.
Right.
Or new zoning ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
You could just be out for a run.
Right.
And just leave a voice message.
Right.
You don't have to, like, find a time to go to a town hall meeting.
Right.
You're busy, you can't, whatever.
Right. Or navigate some crazy online
Right, exactly.
feedback form. Exactly. It just removes a barrier.
Makes you think, too, like, how many times do we, like, we talk about the importance of civic engagement, but how often are we really only hearing from the same, like, small group of people who have the time and resources to show up at a meeting on a Tuesday night?
It's always Tuesday night.
Right?
At 7 p.m.
It's like, who are these people?
Yeah, exactly.
They're, like, retired or something.
This could open the door for so many more voices, so many more perspectives and lived experiences.
Right.
I mean, somebody might not, and rightfully so, feel comfortable, like, standing up in a crowded room and voicing their opinion.
Sure.
But if they can just quickly leave a voice message, all of a sudden they feel empowered.
Yeah, and it's not just like, raising concerns or providing feedback. It's also for things like seeking help or reporting law and emergency issues.
Yeah,
Imagine you just need a clarification on a new city ordinance.
Right.
Or you want to report a broken parking meter or whatever it is.
Yep.
It's like you just
a quick voice memo.
Right.
Get the ball rolling.
And then boom. It's like
exactly
streamlining those communications.
Right.
It helps both the residents and the city departments.
Right.
It's all about making those interactions, as we've been talking about, smoother, more intuitive.
Right. Like, it makes you realize how much, like, untapped potential there is in, like, such a simple a thing, like a voice memo.
But this document also hinted at something much bigger.
Okay.
So this whole voice messaging initiative, this is just one piece of a much larger vision.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
This idea of a dedicated Department of Technology.
Interesting. It's a statement.
It is a statement.
Yeah.
Right. It suggests a real commitment to not just, like, adopting new technology just for the sake of it.
Right.
But actually strategically integrating it.
Yeah.
Into how the government functions and how it interacts with its citizens.
100%.
So
huge.
It makes you wonder what other innovations they might have up their sleeves.
Right. If this is just the beginning, what else is out there?
Right. And if this is, like, just the tip of the iceberg, what else could they do to leverage tech?
Right.
To improve communication, transparency, efficiency in the long run?
That's the million-dollar question. I mean, it's exciting to think about the possibilities.
Yeah.
What if technology could really help us bridge this gap between the government and the people that it serves and create this more responsive and participatory democracy?
It's a powerful thought.
It is.
Because we often focus on, like, the potential downsides of technology.
Of course.
All the time.
Yeah.
And all the ways it's ruining our lives.
Right.
It's kind of refreshing to think about, like, okay, how can it be a force for good?
Absolutely.
Especially in something like this.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is so crucial.
Yeah.
Like, civic engagement. It's like we're on the edge of, like, a whole new world here.
It really is, yeah.
But, with all this talk about how great this new tech is, we have to, we got to think about the potential downsides. Or at least, like, things that we have to be aware of.
Yeah.
I mean, voice messaging, great for a lot of people, but what about people with disabilities?
Right.
Or people who don't speak the language?
Right.
Like, how do they,
Yeah, that's a great point. And honestly, the document doesn't really get into all those details, but they do at least mention that the Department of Technology is, committed to making sure everyone has equal access to the platform. So it will be interesting to see how they address those challenges.
Right, because even with, like, the best intentions, sometimes technology doesn't actually benefit everyone.
100%. Yeah, it often doesn't.
Unless you're really thinking about those things.
You got to think about it from the beginning.
From the beginning, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it makes you wonder, like, this Department of Technology, there's still, it's an idea.
It's just an idea at this point.
But what's the future hold?
Right. What's it going to look like in 5 years?
Right. Like 10 years from now, how are local governments going to be using this new tech?
Imagine, like 10 years from now, instead of, like, dreading going to the DMV
I know.
Or Like, dealing with any government office, you're like, oh, this is going to be easy.
This is going to be great.
Right. This is going to be simple, easy to use.
Right.
What if technology could make those things actually pleasant?
Yeah, flip the script.
Flip the script, 100%. Yeah.
But it really does all come back to
Yeah.
communication.
Communication. Yeah.
Like, this document really emphasizes that,
100%.
something as simple as a voice message,
Right.
it really can bridge the gap,
Absolutely.
right? It's like, makes it easier to report problems, share feedback, just stay in the loop.
Totally. And hopefully that increase in communication will then lead to more transparency, more accountability,
Right.
and ultimately more trust.
Right, because at the end of the day, it all starts with a conversation.
100%. 100%.
Even if it starts with a voice message.
Yep. I love it.
So if you want to learn more about this whole Department of Technology thing or check out the platform yourself, it's www.department.email. And hey, maybe your voice message will be the one that sparks the next big idea. Until next time, keep those suggestions coming because we love exploring with you.